Let's talk about cannabis. Don't act like this is the first you're hearing of it. You've seen the stores, watched the movies, and heard the advertisements claiming that cannabis is natural, affordable, and in many places, completely legal. Of course, none of this means that it is good for you. Studies show that 1 in 3 teens have tried cannabis before turning 15. So it's important to ask, what impact does cannabis actually have on your body and mind? Well, you get high. Just like alcohol makes you drunk, cannabis can mess with how you think and function, making it harder to make decisions, focus, and remember things. If you're high, you might do things you wouldn't normally do, like making poor decisions in relationships, driving under the influence, or engaging in unsafe activities. It's easy to feel invincible when you're high, but the truth is, it can seriously mess with your reaction time and judgment. But what about your body? Regular cannabis can cause you to eat more unhealthy food, make it harder to sleep well, and if you're smoking it can even mess with your lungs. Believe it or not, our brains are still growing, and most don't finish developing until we're around 25. That means that what we do today can affect how we think, feel, and act for a long time. Take the hippocampus. This is the part of the brain that helps you remember what you learned in school, or even just what you had for lunch. If you're using cannabis a lot, it can make it harder to study and retain information. You might even find it difficult to remember conversations you had with friends or family. And then there's the prefrontal cortex. This is the brain area that controls decision-making, impulse control, and emotions. THC can slow that down, making it harder to manage your emotions and think through decisions. And regular cannabis use can seriously interfere with how well you can handle tricky situations in life. So, what happens long term? Well, studies show that teens who use cannabis heavily can lose an average of 5.8 IQ points by the time they hit adulthood. Regular use is also linked to things like depression, anxiety, and even psychosis. If you don't know, psychosis can cause you to see or hear things that aren't real. It's pretty serious and can change the way you interact with the world around you. If someone you know is having trouble distinguishing reality after using cannabis, it's important to get help right away. Ever heard of cannabis use disorder? It's when cannabis starts to get in the way of your life, your relationships, your schoolwork, your hobbies. If you're using cannabis too much, you might find yourself needing more and more to get that high or craving it all the time. Stopping can even cause withdrawal symptoms, headaches, difficulty sleeping, or even nausea. If you notice this happening to you, it might be time to pause and reassess. Okay, so let's say you're still thinking about using cannabis. Here are a few tips to help reduce the risks. Wait until you're older. The older you are, the less cannabis will affect your developing brain. Limit your use. The less often you use it, the less likely you'll experience negative effects. Choose products with lower THC. Some cannabis products have more THC than others. You don't always need the strongest to feel the effects. Get it from a trusted source. Make sure you know where your cannabis is coming from and avoid using it when you're alone. Be mindful of how you consume it. Smoking can hurt your lungs, and edibles can have different effects. Choose wisely based on your health. Never drive high. It's dangerous and illegal. Always have a sober driver if you plan to go anywhere. Avoid it if you have a history of mental health or addiction. Cannabis can increase the risk of mental health problems like depression and anxiety, especially if there's a family history of mental illness. If you or someone you know is struggling with substance use or mental health issues, it's important to know that help is available. Horizon's Child and Youth Mental Health and Addiction Services support young people dealing with these challenges. Their teams include counselors, psychologists, social workers, and other professionals who can help guide you through any emotional, mental health, or substance use concerns. You can access these services at schools, mental health centers, and other community locations, whatever is easiest for you. If you or someone you know needs support, don't hesitate to reach out. Remember, just because cannabis is legal doesn't mean it's safe for your developing brain. Take care of yourself. Your mind is one of your most valuable tools. And if you ever need guidance, support is always available. You're not alone.